Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Driven Leadership Podcast. This week, we have another guest on the show. And, the goal for most of the guests that we have on is to share their expertise, their experience, and their beliefs, their mindset around leadership. And we have another powerful person in the house to talk just about those things. His name is Hobaica, and he has been in the HVAC home service industry since he was 12 years old. He has, as you will find out, been through and seen it all and figured out the best ways to motivate, inspire, and bring out the best in a team of individuals. So we're really excited to have Lou on the podcast this week to talk about motivation in a team and how to create real ownership in individuals. Enjoy.
First, I want to just thank you, Lou, for being on here. It's interesting because we don't really know each other. We met each other at Service World Expo.
Right.
I heard of you for years in the industry. And Michael Vanitas was like, you have to meet Lou. Mm-hmm. So I meet you at Service World. There's a really cool connection. Your name keeps coming up. And Vanitas and I were having dinner, and he said, you have to get Lou on your podcast. And I'm thinking, will you get on here? Because we don't really know each other. And we had the most amazing call. In fact, I was telling my team, I said, I walked off of that call so inspired and so filled up. And to have you here, and I really believe that your message is going to do the same thing for our listeners just because of who you are. So I just want to say thank you for being here.
Yeah.
And for giving of your time to speak and drop words and nuggets of wisdom.
Yeah, my pleasure, Mary and Connie. Thanks for having me. What I have to be able to share is it's not mine. It's God-given gifts to me that aren't mine to keep. They're meant to be shared, and I'm just thankful that I can share it with other people and hopefully impact somebody's life.
So you came from the trades. You've been 40 years in the industry.
Well, actually, I've been longer than that in the industry. I'm 64. So I actually started in the industry at about 12 years old because my father owned Hobaica's refrigeration, which he started in 1952. And basically had a hard time, finding, good, honest, ethical personnel that were hardworking and bringing onto his team. So he had him and my mom, good Catholic couple, and they had 7 kids. So they created their own team of employees. So basically, I grew up in the industry, and when my friends were out playing and messing around, having fun, whether it was after school, it was weekends, it was holidays, it was summer break, Christmas break, spring break, Easter break, whatever, I was working. So a very good, dedicated, strong work ethic. But I grew up in the trades my entire life, and then about 40 years, purchased the company with my oldest brother, Paul. And it was a small company at that time, maybe 800,000 with 8 people in the company. And my brother and I were 2 of them, but we were college graduates. He was an engineer, and I had a business finance accounting major. And so we then grew the company. I added all trades, plumbing, drain, sewer, electrical, on top of our HVAC and a wine cellar department and security. So we really built our company out with a multi-trade type basis. But we're here to talk about leadership, and leadership is huge in running your company and how you develop and just develop leaders within your company to be able to be successful and proficient in their lives and reach their dreams and aspirations. That's really what it's all about.
Yeah. So you start at 12 years old. Your dad starts. Did you ever resent the fact that you had to show up on holidays, after school, weekends? Did you ever resent it, or was it?
So it's just the way it was. And I thought I was lucky that I got to work, to be honest with you, because I got paid. And I was able to, buy my own car, do whatever I wanted to my car, have things. And, my father was always, came to the perspective, if you want something, Louis, then, you need to work hard for it to be able to attain it. He wouldn't pay for anything. And we were a very frugal lifestyle. And so I had things that my friends didn't because I worked hard to get them. So I actually thought I was the lucky one that got to do this to be able to then get what I wanted. There's a lot of, want tos and have tos, and you want to do things, but a lot of times you're going to reach a hurdle in your life where you have to do things for 3, 4, 5, 10 years to be able to then achieve your want tos. And we have to go through, this challenging bit to be able to get there. And, bringing team members on board to be able to realize that's a huge part of your success. So, we can get into that in developing leader and recognizing, what people really need. And individuals don't typically go after what they need. They go after what they want. So they miss the whole need basis. Kind of like, I'll relate this to homeless. So my son, Andy, created a 501c3. It's called One Bag at a Time. If you follow us on Facebook, and I'm part of that organization, we serve the homeless community. People will ask me, do you ever give them money? And I said, no, I don't give, homeless people money. Because that serves their want. They want to utilize the money for whatever they want. And typically it's not something good. And these homeless people, a lot of them want to be homeless, but I give them what they need. And that's, food, clothing, just life necessities. That's what I supply them with. So in your company, when you're looking to build a business of like-minded people to build a great culture, I look at it as I call it the 3 C's. So everything you do in an entity, in a structure, an organization, a company has to benefit all 3 C's. That would be the company representative would be the first C. The customer would be the second C. And then the company is the last C. So any action, decision, any direction you go has to be beneficial to all. And if one of the pieces is missing, then, it's not something you want to do in your company. But I'm going to back up. And what I've found... So I grew up in a task-oriented type mentality. When I grew up in the 60s and 70s and just working in the trades, we just performed tasks. We fixed stuff. We installed stuff. And that was okay. That was all that was necessary. I saw the whole mindset of consumerism start to change and bought the business in the late 80s. And people were no longer, as well as me as a consumer, I was no longer satisfied with just the fix, taking care of the issue at hand. It was now, okay, we needed to learn how to fix the customer. So at that point, I couldn't rely on technical people anymore. I had to rely on people that were ethical, they were likable, people you wanted to be around, people that you trusted. And the bottom line is people buy from people they like and they trust. So that launched in my company, my apprenticeship program, to where I no longer hired people with experience and knowledge and skills. I just hired them because they were nice, likable people. And they had dreams and aspirations in their life to, get places. These were typically people that didn't like school, didn't like college, maybe dropped out of high school, got bad grades, didn't like to read, comprehend, anything like that. But they could watch a video or watch, hand in hand alongside somebody doing something, and they could repeat that action. That's a good technical person. So we learned quickly that we could teach skills. We just couldn't teach an individual that wasn't nice and likable and personable how to be that way, because at that point in their life, they were already who they were. They were made who they were. If they weren't nice and likable, you didn't like to be around them and you just didn't feel good around them. I wasn't an individual that had the time and resources and money to be able to change that, but I could certainly teach anybody any trade-oriented skill set. So we learned that very early and started our apprenticeship program in the late 90s. And I found that individuals, I'm going to go back to wants and needs. Individuals are going for a career and they're going from money because they have wants. And their wants were usually fairly short-sighted. I learned that my team members, in order to create a great culture and everything we did that satisfied all 3 C's within the company in the best interest of everybody involved, I had to help my team then go through some leadership learning and development of their own mindset of what they truly wanted. So it's kind of like, I call it life planning. And in your organization, you have a life planning when you go through your leadership type program. So with our team, I started this many years ago. We go through life planning with every individual with our company departments. And It's helping individuals to be able to determine what they really want in life, 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, 10 year, what they're looking forward to. And your career and the money you're earning from your occupation and your career of what you have to do to be able to get this money as a tool to be able to get where you want to go. It's never the money. Money doesn't satisfy anybody. It doesn't fill, you full and fill your need. It doesn't fulfill you. It's just a tool to be able to reach what you want. So if you can see you're making progress in reaching your dreams and aspirations and you're being successful with those things, then you're going to be more satisfied with the money aspect, as well as, money's just one of the buckets you have to fill within an organization, a company, a family unit, whatever it is. I mean, you have to be appreciated, right? You have to feel like you're part of something bigger than yourself. And when you develop that type of a culture of people that want to go to work, be on a team, serve all three C's, serve the customers, change lives, be able to share their knowledge and expertise to improve somebody else's life because they're making the world a better place, then they feel good about, just helping somebody, benefiting somebody, making somebody's life a little bit better that day. And then they go home and they go to bed at night and like, I did good today. And hopefully I had an impact with somebody. So you go to bed and you get up the next day and you really want to go do that again. That's a team within an organization, a company that's going to drive sales, increase profit, and then benefit the entire team and everybody involved. So that's how we built my company, Hobaica Services. And it was all about that mindset of just, improving lives. And I look at it as we're all blessed with knowledge, expertise, in some way or another. And, it has nothing to do with smarts, intelligence factor. It has to do with your belief in God that, God is here to be able to bless all of us with specific talents. And our specific talents aren't for us to be able to own and keep for ourselves and just hoard them and be greedy with them. They're there so we can then go out and serve and improve the lives of others to make the world a better place. We're like servants of God, apostles, and we're here to be able to go make the world a better place. And like we're here today, right? God has put us together, with the right people at the right time in the right place to be able to, share knowledge and share insight and what we know and life experiences. So that's the way I look at it. But I'm rambling a little bit, all over the board, but maybe you want to redirect me. And
no, I love it. Well, when I started and I asked you when you were 12 years old, did you regret? And you're like, no, I loved it. And it was because you had this mindset way back with what you're talking about right now, who you are as a leader. When you stepped back and you said, I want to hire people who have a great attitude. There's a book I read years ago. It's called The On Purpose Person. And then they did the On Purpose Business. And when in the On Purpose Business, they said, you have the technical and the tingle.
Yeah.
You can never hire if they don't have the tingle. So you can't teach them a tingle.
You can't.
You can teach them the technical. And as you're talking, I'm like, that's what you did.
Right.
Because you were clear on who you are. We align the lessons we learn. We end up hiring the people of like the culture of what we believe. It's our belief. It's our value. It's our culture. So as a 12-year-old, you are already living what you are teaching as a leader. And then getting super clear, here's my people. I want people who are hungry. Right. I want people who have this great mindset. They want things, they want to learn, and I can teach them the technical. And when we flip it, so many times people get stuck in, I have to, so they have to, but I need people who are experts because it's going to help me grow my company. But you did something opposite. You started the apprentice program to teach people. Do you believe that helped you grow further, or was there a piece in the transition where you actually hit some speed bumps?
Oh, definitely. It was monumental, massive in helping us to be able to grow larger and more profitable. So we, about 20 million in total revenue sales, and we're a service retrofit company of all trades. but our profitability at 30%. So a very profitable company. And that type of a business that I'm in, if you're in the 30%, 25-30% profitability, you're in like the top 1% of profitable companies out there. And the only reason we were able to do that is because we were able to align our people, the right people, in the right jobs where they owned their career. It wasn't just a job, they owned a career. They owned and controlled their career in whichever direction they wanted to grow, because they weren't backed into a corner and this is what you're going to do while you're here and this is what you're going to get paid. So we allowed them to own their career and develop and grow with that, as well as own their income. And in most companies you go to, okay, so you're going to be a plumber, you're going to be an electrician, you're going to be an HVAC tech, and that's what you're going to do, and you're going to make $25 an hour, $30 an hour, whatever. And me as the boss, the leader, the owner, is in control of your income. That's the worst type of a situation you can put somebody in when they're out of control. Put them in control of their career, their income, incentivize them to do more in the same time, right? Mm-hmm. And then allow them to be able to plan with them, life planning. They're going to get beyond that monetary factor of, okay, well, I can make $30 an hour here. I can make 35 over here. I can make 40 doing that. So it's a monetary mindset. Take them out of that, allow them to own their livelihood and career and income, and then enable them to be able to reach their dreams and aspirations. We want to get out of that whole rat race and be able to help individuals to be financially independent and owning their career, and just be more mindful of what they're doing and what they're building towards. And it changes the whole mindset of a culture, but that was just huge in allowing us to get where we wanted to be. And then we're able to pay our people 50, 100% more than they would anywhere else they could go in that type of a job within the industry. So are they going to leave? No, they're not. So we had very little turnover. And I always looked at a KPI, from a business perspective, of revenue per employee in a trade type organization. So at about 200,000 revenue per employee, total employees divided into total revenue, a quick calculation. And if you're at 200,000 of total employees divided in total revenue for a year, you're about a 10% net profit company. At 300, you're about a 20%. At 400,000 revenue per employee in a trade organization, you're at 30%. So getting your team to perform at that type of a level, they're going to make twice as much money, right? They're going to be much happy. They're going to be reaching their dreams and aspirations with their kids and their growth and their family, and building, just generational wealth for themselves. And they're happy and they're content and they just feel fulfilled, and they're with a team that they really enjoy working with, and they're getting out of bed every day and wanting to go to work and wanting to work with the team and do what they do and what they love, and going to bed feeling like satisfied, and they can pat themselves on the back that they did good today. I had a good day. I was able to really bless some people's lives and help them out. So that's the mindset and whole culture that we've built.
So I have a question. You talk about your team where they own their role. How did you get them to own their role, and what happened? What kind of accountability, if they were slipping up? Like, what happened if they weren't owning their role? What did you do to put that in place?
Yeah,
sure.
That was my question too.
Yeah. So we would hire, like I said, we would look for likable people. And I learned a process many years ago. And so I'm going to start back at the interview type process. So typically when you're looking for a new team member, you advertise, you market for a new team member, and we get some applicants that come in, and you and Mary and Connor sit down and we interview that applicant, and you sit down in a room, you ask them questions. So what I found was, through my experience and just my human interaction experience and knowledge, that anybody can make themselves be a certain person a certain way, make you believe I am something that I'm not when I'm with a one-on-one or one-on-two. So I can come and interview with you and Connor, and I can pretend to be, very smart, very skilled. I can come off, like I'm going to fit your team really well. I can fit in where I think you want me to fit in, even though I'm not. Be the person that I'm truly not. So I can make you believe I am. And I'm certain yourselves, as well as others, listening to this podcast, have come across individuals that have become part of the team, whether they were hired by somebody else or you hired them. It's like, okay, so Lou comes on, and I'm going to pick on Connor because I'm not going to pick on myself. We're going to pick on
because he has really good hair.
Connor comes on board. He's the new kid on the block. I mean, he just was like the best thing we've ever met. Connor's going to fit our team and our role. He's just going to kill it. We're so excited. And after about a week of Connor being there, Mary and I look at each other and like, who the heck is this Connor guy? This is not the guy we interviewed, right? Who is he? So the real Connor comes out. And Connor's not the nice, likable guy. He just pretty much, pulled a smokescreen over us and just made us believe he was something better than or different than he was, right? So that happened all too often. And it takes a lot of time to vet through and go through all these individual interviews. So about 15 years ago, I said, okay, I'm not going to interview like that anymore. The best way to get an individual to be able to be themselves so you can really see the true person is to put them in an uncomfortable situation. Mm-hmm. Okay. So the easiest way to get somebody uncomfortable is put them on stage. Stage fright will take all of your conscious mindset and diminish it, and your subconscious just comes out. Mm-hmm. The majority of all people are afraid. So what we did is we would have, and we still do today, even though I'm not part of Hobaica Services, they still have monthly hiring events. So I'd have a presentation, I would run it, my management team would be there, and each individual would, they'd fill out a little card with their name, and they draw a picture of their why they get up and, do life every day. What motivates them? Why am I going through life? Why do I get up every day? What is my purpose? Mm-hmm. So that was a little difficult for a lot of people, but it just allowed them to be able to see about who they were. Then I would have a little presentation about, the who and why of our company. So I would present that and then let the individuals know that they're the hiring event, what we're looking for. And then I would have a one-on-one interview from anywhere from 2 to 4 minutes, depending on the size of the group, with each individual. They'd stand up. I'd go right up to them. I'd shake their hand. I say, Connor, nice to meet you. Thanks so much for coming here tonight. And I would ask Connor about 10 questions, and they'd be populated on our 100-inch flat screen in our room. And Connor would be, stage fright would come over Connor. And I would always kind of jokingly say we would infuse truth gas in our ventilation system, and everybody would breathe this truth gas. And as soon as Connor stood up, he's going to start speaking truth to me, because my management team's there. 20, 30, 40 other people are there. They're all seated. Connor stands up. I go up to him, shake hands, and I start asking Connor about himself. So Connor's shaking. His hands are just sopping, right? He's flushed. And he's like, everyone's got their eyes on Connor. So he really has stage fright, whether he's good in front of people, which most people are not. But he's just like nervous, right? And my management team is watching me ask these specific questions. And, I'll ask, what is your why? Why do you get up and do what you do every day? I'll talk a little bit about your experience and, what you did and why you left the last job and the one before that. And then I'd ask another simple question. What do you hate doing that you really suck at? You don't like to do? You'd rather, everybody else take care of it. You don't ever want to do it again. And it's like, I really hate talking to people. And I'm like, okay, talking to people. I mean, they'll tell you things that are applicable to what they want and the direction, the line of work, but he would never say that in a one-on-one interview. And so simple questions that are kind of off base like that, just to get them to talk and share, and they'll share things they would never say. So in that 2, 3, 4 minute one-on-one interview, we're going to find out if Connor is truly a nice, likable person. That's all we're looking for. Do we like and trust Connor, right? Would he be a good fit for our team to invest in teaching him the skills of a trade? And if we see that Connor would fit, then we're going to have a second sit-down interview. And then at that point, probably bring him on. So that's how I then hired everybody. And it was a much better process because we could get through 20, 30, or 40 people in a 2-hour time frame and be able to weed out all the stuff, because he's sharing from his subconscious, which is his true self. And I get to see what kind of a person he really is. And I just wanted the person. We just hired for the person, just the personality, the likability, right? That's all we wanted. So that's how we built our team and quit all those one-on-one interviews, which, saved me probably 40 hours a month, because it takes so much time to interview all these people.
Love that. We're going to tell everyone, hey, you got to use Lou's process, put them on stage.
You do, exactly. It works, I'm telling you. And
well, I'm curious
it was the best
about
thing we ever did, and they still do it today.
So good.
I know that you're in the like consulting space now, and you talk to other business owners. This is, I would imagine, a pretty big shift for most home service companies in their hiring process. Is there any hesitation or resistance whenever you pitch this to companies, or like what does that look like when you bring this up to other business owners?
Well, it's hard for them to really understand it until I start to identify for them, the longevity or the culture they have built. So they have a culture that they don't really like, and it's not what they want. And they really want the dream culture of people that really want to be there every day. They want to go to work. They want to be part of the team. They really are driven to do the right thing every time with every customer and be honest and ethical. So that's what they want. But in order for them to get there, they need to filter out their team to be able to get the right people on board. So they'll see that, okay, well, what I've been doing has built this team. And apparently I haven't been doing it the right way because the result that I have isn't the end result that I want. So once they understand that and the pain is painful enough, then they're willing to say, okay, Lou, as uncomfortable as this sounds, because it's not an easy thing to do. I mean, anytime a change effect that you make in your business, your leadership, anything you do isn't typically easy. And those are usually the things that allow the most growth. It's the things that aren't easy, because most people won't do those things that are hard, right? That's why, it takes the right type of individual, or you've reached the pain point and the pain level enough to where, you don't want to suffer anymore. So, okay, I give up. I'm going to go ahead and give this a shot. And then, they see the benefit of that, of just getting the right people on board that truly want to. And it's that want to versus have to. So that's the way I look at it. And the life planning certainly helps with that. That was game changer for my team. Every year we do it beginning of January, every year, to be able to plan out the year. And basically, so a little bit more about that is, so say, Connor, you're on my team and you're in the service department, and you'll be, with 25, 30 other of the service team, you'll be in a big room, and we'll put a big sticky flip chart, up on the wall, and your picture above it, and you're at your little station with your marker, and you got 25 or 30 other team members around the room. And then I'll say, Connor, I want you to write down your top 3 to 5 goals you want to accomplish this year. What do you want to accomplish in your life with your family, your kids, house, whatever you want to improve on, dreams and aspirations. So you write those down. And then I ask you to identify what kind of money, put a number on what you're going to need to be able to achieve that. Right? So you're going to put a number. And then I'll have you put down, okay, what did you make? What was your W-2 total income last year? You'll write it down. Everybody sees what everybody makes. There's nothing hidden here. It's all above board. And he puts down, okay, I made, 75,000, right? And he writes down, okay, I'm going to need, another 10 for this, another 25 for this, whatever it is. Maybe he comes with another $100,000 he's going to need this year. So at that point, we add the two up, and so for 2025, Connor wants to make, the 75 he made last year plus another 100. He wants to make 175 this year. So I will then show Connor how he can make 175 or more this year by simply, utilizing the tools and the processes we have to be able to own your career and own your income and maximize your own opportunities yourself. You're in ownership. I'm not the one that tells you what you can make, right? I don't back you into a corner. I allow you freedom to be able to achieve that. So we show you the path, and then you commit to certain strategies, about 75 different strategies. And if you're not utilizing that strategy now, and you're willing to commit to it, or you're utilizing it maybe 50% of the time, but you're willing to commit to it 100%, you're going to write it down. Wow. So that allows Connor to then see like, oh, wow, I really do have the ability to reach my dreams and aspirations and get these things done. It's all on me. I can do this. It's not like Lou or my manager that's in control of me and guiding me, or, managing or pushing me, suppressing me, and not allowing me, the right opportunities. It's really all about me. I can do this. So then when Connor comes in, maybe middle of the summer, and he's got a buddy that said, "Hey, we got a great job opportunity over here. You make $5 more an hour, da 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 da." And he has that early morning chat with me. "Hey, Lou, do you have some time to talk, this morning for me?" He says, "Well, I have more bills. My kids need this, medical, my wife, da da da, and I can go work with my buddy Joe over here, and I can get this wage over here." I said, "Okay." I said, "Not a problem. Here, let's sit down and chat for a minute." So I just I'll pull up quick, what your year-to-date income is, where you're at, and then I pull up your strategies. It's in your file, your folder, and we pull up your strategies that you had signed off and agreed to, and how you're going to own your career and your income, and I see how you're performing. So I say, "Oh, okay, Connor." I said, "So how is this going? Are you doing this every time?" And it's like, "No, I'm not doing that. Yeah, I do that some of the time." So pretty soon, Connor's going to see, like, this is all on me. This isn't Lou. This isn't the company. I'm just messing up my opportunity. I don't need to go chasing after this another $5 an hour. I have a much bigger opportunity here by just doing the right things in the right place at the right time with the right customers, and I can really blow this up. So at that point, it's kind of an ownership of a role that people don't want to lose, and just keep chasing, the next gold nugget, the next shiny object, because they know they have a better opportunity here. So it helps in that whole mind perspective of that ownership of your career and your income, and allowing you to achieve whatever you want. That's going to take you to reach your dreams and aspirations for your family, your kids, your future.
I love this. Do you ever have where they get, whether it's monthly, where the leadership, the management team pulls back their goals or aspirations and do a check-in? How you doing with this?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. So we have, weekly meetings, and basically at least once a month, we will go over and we will celebrate achievements. At our company meetings, we'll celebrate achievements. It's all celebration. It's all recognition. I give about $500 away of just, paying people to share and to role play and life experiences and celebrate and recognize. So it's just a lot of fun and recognition. But at that time, you recognize and celebrate achievements by all your team members. They had a new baby. They got their kid into school, they bought a house, they got their car, whatever it was they were looking to achieve, then we would celebrate those. And when you see your team members succeeding and celebrating, it makes your heart happy. So when you create that energy from within within the team, that drives the entire team forward, and it works very well.
So I want to, because we're touching on a little bit, because the organization that you're describing is very much like there's that self-ownership. People are driven to take care of their own, and like you're saying, own their career. Right. So within that, what does the role of leadership turn into? Because it's not management. The employee is expected to manage themselves, so to speak, own their jobs, own their career, own their revenue. Right. So what does the leadership's role turn into? And you're talking about like praise and appreciation, all that stuff, but what else goes into that within this type of organization?
Yeah, so then what you're leading your team towards is the same thing which I've expressed. Everything that they know, all the skills they have, are meant to be shared with others, not only to bless everybody they come in contact, whether it's a CSR on the phone, whether it's a tech in the field, installing, repairing, maintaining, whatever, or a sales guy in the field, taking care of problems, trying to provide solutions, for customers or potential customers. But it's sharing your knowledge with your team to be able to then bless others and bring others up within the organization so they can then reach their dreams and aspirations and then bless others. So it's kind of like, It's our little group, our little team, to be able to make our little impact in the world, to be able to bless other people, whoever's on our team, to be able to then go out and, make the world a better place. So it's just our little way to be able to do that. And if more companies did that, we'd have a much bigger change effect in our country and our world if we got more people on board with that whole process, rather than They come on board in the company and they're all about themselves, and they're not there for others of the teamwork as a whole, and really serving and being in the want to type mindset rather than the have to. So it's kind of like, everybody's in for themselves. And I got to watch my back. I just got to watch out for myself, right? I got to take care of myself. And that's the way most teams and cultures are. And it's a very selfish and unfortunate place to be. And it's not a profitable, place to be for anybody involved in that. Well, so it's everybody leading, each other. We all have leadership skills, right? Yeah. Most people are suppressed and they're not able to see them because they're not able to reach their true potential. They're suppressed, and no one, I'm going to guarantee, going through life planning with people I coach or anybody in my company, they've never experienced anything like it. And it's no different than your leadership organization. When they come to you, it's like, oh my God, this was just life changing. I mean, how many lives do you change that go through your program that they've never experienced anything like this before? It's the same. Most people just are suppressed, and they don't ever have that switch turned on because no one's been there to be able to do that for them or with them. And so it's just a little change effect that you can make to, improve one life at a time, and then just make a bigger effect.
What you're talking about, though, it really it is leadership from the top. So it's the John Maxwell, the 21 irrefutable laws to leadership. It's your lid, raise your lid, because you're looking at a culture that you've created, but that would not happen if the leadership, the top of the company, isn't living that.
Right.
And so when you go to coach people, because a lot of times people will go, and we work with a lot of trades, they want that, but they themselves are not living it, and they don't know how to create it.
Right.
So with that, when you're coaching a business owner or somebody that is leading the company, and they say, hey, I want this kind of culture, what do you do, or what would you encourage them to do to look within?
Yeah, so it was a learning lesson for me as well as anything. I mean, we all have to go through ups and downs to be able to learn what works best, and the best ways to be able to build your team, your company, for growth and profitability, so everybody will benefit. I'm a very mindful guy, and while I sleep, and I get up maybe 3 a.m, and then my mind goes into its thoughtful stage where I'm, out of the forest, I'm up on the mountaintop, and I'm able to see and think clearly. So I go to the gym early in the morning, and that's my time to think and be able to generate ideas. So I come up with a lot of great ideas, and I always have, but early in my career, I would take those ideas, I would put them to paper and then into practice, and most of those monumental best ideas that anybody ever had didn't work, right? They just never took off, never gained traction, and there wasn't enough buy-in. And you just beating yourself up. I'm going to get one of these to work, and you just keep going at it. And then what I learned was most leaders, managers, owners, they have these ideas, or maybe it's an R&D. It's a rob and duplicate from, another best practice. So they R&D it, rob and duplicate, bring it to their company, brand it for them, and then they're going to launch it. And it worked for everybody else, but it doesn't work for me. So the same idea won't work for you that worked for everybody else. And what I found is the owner, the manager, the leader that's driving for revenue and profitability, they're making it about them, the company, the profit, the sales, the revenue. So they're making it about them. And then I kind of, this is long ago, and I took my dad's lessons I learned from him, my mentor, and his practice was always make it about others, always give back to others. The good Lord will always provide. Mm-hmm. So I said, okay, the trick is not a trick. The magic behind it, to make it work and get buy-in with any good or bad idea, is make it about them. So you have to spin it, and you have to sell it to your team to where it's got to benefit them. They have to see the benefit for them, their lives. Mm-hmm. So it makes sense. Nobody likes to do more work or to change anything in what they do. They don't like anything change. You can't change the comp plan. You can't change my job, my role. You can't give me more work to do. unless you're going to pay me more, right? So they don't like any change. So you spin it to where it's about them. It's going to benefit them. They're going to make more money. They're going to reach their dreams and aspirations. You benefit them. Then you show it how it benefits the whole. That's it. Benefits them, benefits the whole. It'll always, if you're benefiting them and the customer and the whole, it'll come back to you and benefit the company with revenue and profitability. The good Lord will always provide if you're doing the right thing for everybody involved. And don't focus on the company and revenue and profitability. Focus on the team, the employee, their families, their income, their dreams and aspirations, serving the customer at the highest level and making sure you're doing everything honestly and ethically and doing the right thing without them watching. So you're taking care of them and looking out for their best interest. It'll come back to the company in higher revenue, more profitability. And that's the way to be able to get your team to buy in and gain traction with any idea and have it move forward. Otherwise, you're just you're fighting against the wind the whole time, trying to get change effect to happen. And it typically doesn't.
Yeah. It's a scripture that says, give and it shall be given to you. And that's what you're saying is you give and it gets we get out of our way. We get out of the fear. We get out of the survival mode.
Right.
And if we actually give, givers gain, and it comes back in tenfold. And it's one of those things that I really believe is, as a leader, a business manager, owner, whatever, they have to be able to get out of their way to trust and to realize that when you do the right thing, when you put your people first, because what you created is that you created this culture, this vibe that people show up.
Yes.
They want to be celebrated. They want to celebrate. They want to work for it because they know someone truly cares about them.
Right.
It's not just lip service.
Yep. Yeah. So what was most important in our company was our who and our why, who we are, who we represent, and why we do what we do, why we're different and better. And, so in Phoenix, Arizona, if I look at plumbing, HVAC, electrical companies, there's 42,000 licensed companies that we compete with. So there's 42,000 in metropolitan Phoenix, about 5.5 million. There's a lot of competition that have the exact same this products and services that I offer. So how do I differentiate myself and my company from the other 42,000? It's pretty difficult, right? And most companies just focus on the what. So they have sales, they have BOGOs, they have specials, buy one, get one, whatever. They have all these specials and lost leaders, rather than if you focus on promoting and showing value with your who and your why you're different and better, that you are the most likable people I've ever met, that I do like a Hobaica. You're trustworthy. You're always looking out for my best interest. Lou is my guy. I trust him and like him, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So we always promote, we don't sell any products and services. Our first objective is not to sell any product or service in our company. And, everyone will kind of look at me when they, first come into our culture in our company, like, what do you mean? You're HVAC, plumbing, electrical, drain, sewer, wine systems. You got to sell stuff. And I said, no, we don't sell anything. No stuff. All we do is we create an experience to where we gain likability, trust. We sell ourselves. We just want to sell ourselves because we're nice, likable people. And we're always looking out for our customers' best interest. When you sell that, people are going to like you and trust you, and then ask you for recommendations. What do you think I should do here, Lou? What do you think is best for me? That's the best place I can put myself if I'm the power of authority. You're looking to me for an answer, authority, a direction, and my opinion. At that point, you said, what should I do? What's best? What do you recommend? Well, let me grab my tablet. I'll work you up a few options and what I think is best. You asked me for solutions. Now I'm giving you a solution because you asked me for them. I didn't sell you a solution. I just sold myself to where you liked me and trusted me. I showed you things that nobody else has ever showed you. I created an experience like no other service provider ever has in their home. It's like, man, this guy's different. I've never had anybody like this. I like this guy. He's looking out for me and my best interest. I've had 10 guys in my attic or in my basement. No one's ever said anything about this. And Lou shows me all this stuff, and he's not even benefiting from half of this stuff. He's just doing it because he's a good guy. I like him. So you ask me for solutions. I then provide you solutions. when you go about it that way, they want to buy from you because they trust you. Now it's not a price driven type opportunity or solution. They're not looking at the price. They're like, no, I want Lou to do this because I like him and trust him, and I want him to take care of it. So it's a whole different mindset in the trades type service industry in selling yourself, getting them to buy you. And don't offer a product or a solution or a service until the customer asks you for, what would you recommend? How do I take care of this? What are my options? You'll never be selling anything.
I know. I can't believe we went over. This has been amazing. We could go even longer. But what I want to say just first, and then we'll wrap it up. What you're talking about, where it started and ending, it is authenticity. So you, as that leader, you created this, coming from this place of being authentic. You work with people that you got really, really clear that you wanted to help them, or they wanted to learn and grow. It wasn't necessarily just the technical. You sit with them and they are mapping out what they want.
Right.
So now you've connected into their heart, their hopes, their dreams, and you come alongside, you celebrate them. They feel safe. They have this amazing team experience. So when they go into the home, they're authentic.
Yes.
Yes, people have ups and downs, but it's the culture that you've built. It's like-minded people who are rowing in the same direction, checks and balances, but you're connecting them to the why. That's the Simon Sinek. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it.
That's 100%. And they're going to long remember how you made them feel, not the product or service or what you did. They'll quickly forget that. So that's a big, mind shift in our company and getting that light bulb. So you have very few leaders, managers, employers, owners that are able to turn that switch on. Like, oh, I see now. Right. And that's really the difference. And it's just getting that switch turned on for individuals. And most people, and even that come to your leadership, or that maybe were never able to experience your leadership training, that light bulb was never turned on for them. And I know going through your program, you have individuals that are just mind blown, like, oh man, I'm a different person. I have a whole new perspective on life.
Yeah. Well, it's what happened with you, right? You have that light bulb moment, and as that leader, it's like, oh, I see me, I'm elevating. So how can I help elevate the people around me?
Right. Yeah. I grew up with the mindset, but I didn't know how to then get other people on board. So then I went to the report early 2000, and I said, okay, this is a platform that I can get people on board. So I sent my brothers, right? I had two brothers. I have 4 brothers, but 2 were partners. So I had them go. Then I had my whole management team go. Then I had my kids go. Right. And I mean, because I said this was a platform where I could then build a team to be able to then grow and move this, this ship forward and be able to just transform so many lives. So, an organization like what you have to be able to offer is just, it's such a, just a monumental platform that can make such just a massive shift in just the mindset of individuals and just building a better life, better futures, better leaders, for team, able to bless other lives. So it's a great platform. I just applaud you for what you're doing and how you're able to change lives with that.
Thank you. Thank you. Is there a website if people want to reach out to you and get help? I know you do consulting.
Yes, I do.
How can they reach out to you? And I know Connor can also get some of your handles, so to speak, but what's the best way for them to reach out to you?
Yeah, I don't have a website, believe it or not, because I have enough business to where I kind of filter through that, and I'm kind of particular on who I work with. I work with like-minded people that I can see they truly have the desire and want and drive to make a change effect. I don't like to work with people that basically aren't reaching, what they really want. And because if I can't help somebody, then I don't feel accomplished. I'm really there to help individuals improve their lives, their family, their future. So Facebook, Lou Hobaica on Facebook, Louis Hobaica on having a mind blank right now, but
Instagram.
It's Lou Hobaica on Instagram as well.
LinkedIn?
Business site.
Okay. LinkedIn.
LinkedIn, thank you. Yeah, it's my full name, Louis Hobaica on LinkedIn. Email is lhobaica61@gmail.com. Just spell my name right, Hobaica right, lhobaica61@gmail.com. Those are the best ways to be able to get a hold of me.
Do you have resources? Cool. Do you have your own podcast?
I do not have my own podcast. No, I don't. I'm on a lot of different podcasts, just, trying to get, message out there and just, bless others with what is not mine, what is meant to be shared with others to be able to, help others to be able to reach, their potential.
Well, it's amazing just listening to some of the things that you've built. I know there's so many people, if they had that information and they're the right leaders, the leaders that are hungry, it could radically transform their companies.
Yes.
Yeah. So I just thank you for being on here. Thank you for sharing your wisdom, insight, your history, your stories, and just honored. So grateful. Like now I'm like, no, I know you. So now I'm going to be one of Michael Vanitas and Lou Hobaica fans.
There you go. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure having you on here. And I am glad I got to experience Connor's good hair day because it's looking
right? I don't have any bad hair days, so.
Hey, I was voted best hair in high school. Did you achieve that, Connor?
No, I didn't. I don't have that one yet.
Yeah, I was that guy that took his football helmet off, his hair looked perfect. Take his wrestling gear off, his hair looked perfect. It was just always perfect hair.
That's amazing. Yeah. Well, yeah, I really appreciate you being here. This has been great.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure, guys.
Well, as always, thanks so much for listening, everybody. If you have any questions or need help with any kind of leadership development in your own company, we'd love for you to reach out. All of our socials are Driven Leadership, and you can reach out directly via email, podcast@drivenleadership.com. Again, thanks so much to Lou for being on the show, and we'll see you in next week's episode, everybody.